Let's talk about how to start an LLC in Texas. And Texas is a really great state for a business, especially if you want to have an LLC. It's a business-friendly state, just as the limited liability company is a business-friendly concept, right? And Texas allows entrepreneurs to actually thrive in the state and actually also have a legal liability protection without the cumbersome structure of a corporation. So this is kind of cool. And now one thing I need to say before I delve into today's conversation is that the guidelines I'll be talking about here, they are for starting a domestic LLC, which is one started within the state you are residing in. A foreign LLC is one that originates outside the state. So to register a foreign LLC in Texas, you would complete an application for registration of a foreign limited liability company and follow a different process. And we'll talk about that process in another show. So if the purpose of your proposed business is to provide a licensed professional service such as medicine, architecture, accounting, etc., a Texas professional LLC, PLLC, might be an option for you. Okay, so this is kind of important. So this show is not about a PLC formation also. This is strictly about LLC formation. So when we talk about, so I just wanted to sort of qualify today's conversation so we're clear. This is not about a foreign LLC or a PLLC. This is about a Texas-based LLC. And so the Texas Secretary of State has a few rules to follow if you want to form your LLC smoothly, quickly, and without costly fines. So to show you how to actually start an LLC in Texas, we are actually going to go through step-by-step things you need to do. But I just want to give you very quickly here. The overview is you need to choose a unique name for your LLC in Texas. Don't worry, I'll go in details later on here. I just want to give you an overview so you have a clear idea. So you need to choose a unique name for your LLC in Texas. Appoint a registered agent to receive important notices for your business. Okay, you need to file a certificate of formation with the Texas Secretary of State. You need to create an operating agreement to establish the rules for your LLC. And you need to register your business with the IRS and review your tax requirements, including your state tax requirements. So this is kind of cool. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Here are the steps I really want you to follow. So step number 1, you need to name your Texas LLC. So basically, Texas is a unique state, and your Texas limited liability company needs to have a unique name, right? It must be different from any other existing business name in the state. It must also follow Texas limited liability company naming guidelines. So basically, you want to go to a Texas, the business entity search page, and you want to do a search for your desired LLC name. And if no one has taken it, great. If not, keep looking, okay? So once you have found a name that's unclaimed on the website, it's a great idea to also call to verify that the name really is available because the system isn't perfect. You know what it is. The Secretary of State can give you a preliminary determination of whether your name is available if you call 512-463-5555. The number again, we're going to put this on the screen here, 512-463-5555, or you can email corpinfo@sostexas.gov. corpinfo@sostexas.gov. .texas.gov. We'll put everything on the screen, okay? And so basically, you need to actually. So the thing is that your name must be distinguishable from other business names, which means minor changes like punctuation, capitalization, or adding "the" in front of your LLC name are not going to cut it, okay? Sounding alike is also a problem. For example, Express Auto versus Express Auto. This is unless there is a clear difference in meaning. This is kind of important. And also you also need to make sure that you can't use the words implying your LLC is a government agency or was created for an illegal purpose, okay? You also need to choose a designator. For example, Inc. or LLC. It can be LC, it can be L.C, it can be L.L.C. It can be co. It can be company. It can be a lot of things. So, and by the way, you can also reserve your name by paying a fee. So this is kind of cool. If you found a name and you're not really pretty sure that you want to file right away, you can reserve it. Okay. And if your LLC name is available You also need to make sure that it is available as a web domain as well. Very important. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. But also, I want to remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to start an LLC in Texas. The next thing you want to do here is to appoint a registered agent in Texas. So basically, the thing is that the government has to be able to reach your LLC, and they need to contact an individual or business entity and a Texas street address for your business so that they can send official documentation, for instance, to your registered agent. This is kind of important. So when we talk about this is important because the official registered agent for your business actually basically has to be in the state of Texas, and their address is called a registered office. So that office doesn't have to be where your business is actually located, but it does have to be physically present in Texas. You can't use a PO box because notices like subpoenas must be delivered in person. So to actually have a registered agent, you have three options. You can be your own registered agent. You can appoint another person as your agent, or you can use a registered agent service. This is totally possible, not a problem. Now, a few states will allow an LLC to be its own registered agent, but not Texas. So basically, being your own registered agent has its pros and cons. Appointing another person also has its pros and cons. You just got to find out what really works for you. So when we talk about you being your own registered agent, this might sound like the cheapest option, right? But you need to think about your privacy. You need to think about your availability. Let's say you were busy doing something and you didn't get a chance to see an important mail that was served to you. You really have to think about that. And also, you can use a registered agent service. Again, you got to think about the fee that you have to pay, but it is worth it in some cases. Now, what if a process server cannot find your registered agent? Well, serving as your own registered agent or appointing someone could be a serious problem if a process server, which is basically someone who delivers notification of a lawsuit, cannot find you or your agent when they need to. So you can't just tell the court, I was not available. No, this is a biggie, so you want to avoid it. That's why it's a lot better to have a registered agent service. Step number 3, you need to file Texas Certificate of Formation. And the thing is that, this is the step in which you apply to the state to register an LLC in Texas, right? Once approved, your LLC is official. The Certificate of Formation is referred to as the Articles of Organization in most states. So basically, but in Texas, it's called the Certificate of Formation. So the filing fee you will pay for launching your LLC in Texas is a one-time fee of $300. And you got to tack on a 2.7% charge if you are paying by credit card. Okay. Now, in terms of processing times, well, really, it will depend on how busy they are, but it might take 10 to 12 business days for everything to actually be taken care of. But again, it depends on how busy the office is. One thing I want to say here is that I want to talk to you quickly about what information you got to provide about your LLC in Texas. Because when you actually file the Certificate of Formation form, you need to have the following information on hand: the entity name and type, the registered agent and registered office, the governing authority, the purpose of the LLC, the initial mailing address, the supplemental provisions / information, the duration. So in Texas, an LLC exists perpetually unless you say otherwise in this section. You got to mention the organizer of the LLC, the effectiveness of filing. So in this section, you get to decide when your LLC will go into effect. Think of it as your LLC's birthday. Most choose to have this happen as soon as it's filed by the Secretary of State, but you also have a couple of other options. You can decide the date the filing goes into effect by entering that information there, so long as it's not more than 90 days from the date you signed it. And this is kind of important. And Texas also lets you choose a future event or fact at which time the LLC becomes official, and you can list that there as well. It still cannot be more than 90 days from the signing though. And then you have the execution. So this is just a dramatic way of saying date and signature. That's it. So once you have that, you're good to go. And you also need to keep your LLC paperwork organized. This is really important. Also, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to start an LLC in Texas. The next thing you want to do here is to create an operating agreement. So basically for your LLC in Texas, you need to have an operating agreement. And Texas does not require you to create an operating agreement, but it's really, you should. We think that you should, especially if you're not the only LLC owner. This is the critical document that establishes the rules for how your LLC will be run and much more. The nice thing is that you can really take advantage of how flexible the LLC structure is here. You can customize the agreement to spell out the roles of everyone involved in the LLC, ownership, percentages, voting rights, and anything else you want to specify. You also avoid future conflicts with the owner, with the other owners by putting everything in black and white. You never know. You just never know. So here are some things you may want to include in your Texas LLC operating agreement. First of all, ownership. Number 2, management. Number 3, initial contributions. Number 4, profit distribution. Number 5, taxes. Number 6, ownership changes. And number 7, dissolving the business. So LLC dissolution. Okay. And so the thing here is that, some people are asking us, and some viewers have asked us during the preparation phase of this show, if you still need an operating agreement if you are the only owner. Well, many things in operating agreements are geared towards avoiding disputes among the LLC members. So you may think you don't need one for a single member LLC. But operating agreements offer benefits to single member LLCs too. Potential investors, future business partners, and others may want to see your operating agreement. Some banks will now let you open a business bank account for your LLC without one. Your operating agreement can also spell out what you want to happen to the business if you die or become incapacitated. So further, if you end up in court, having an operating agreement will help further demonstrate that you and the business really are separate entities, thus giving you better personal asset protection. So this is kind of important. So again, I want to remind you of the essential sections of a Texas LLC operating agreement. You have ownership, management, initial contributions, profit distributions, taxes, ownership changes, and dissolving the business. Step number 5, you need to apply for an EIN. So when we talk about EIN, basically you need to obtain it from the IRS. So EIN means employer identification number, right? So an EIN is like a social security number for your LLC. Unlike your other dealings with the IRS, it's free, which is good because you'll probably need one for your business. You get it from the IRS, go into their website and actually filling out an application. If you'd rather do it by mail, you can fill out a form and send it to the Internal Revenue Service. And we'll put this on the screen. So the address is Internal Revenue Service, attention, EIN operation, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45999. Again, the address is, we'll put this on the screen, but I want to say it again. So the address is Internal Revenue Service, attention, EIN operation, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45999. It will likely take 4 weeks, whereas the online version is immediate. Okay. If you'd rather deal with the IRS as little as possible, basically you can just go through a third-party registered agent service to kind of help you out. And any of the following will require an employer identification number. So having more than one member in your LLC, having employees, opening a bank account for your LLC. Most banks require an EIN. Having your LLC taxed as a corporation, obtaining loans, lines of credit, or a credit card for your LLC, applying for certain business licenses and permits. Okay, so this is kind of important. And you also need to have something called a Texas taxpayer money. Okay, so this is like after your LLC is approved, the Texas Controller of Public Accounts will send you, after 2 or 3 weeks, the franchise tax responsibility letter, form 05280. So this letter gives you an 11-digit taxpayer number that will be used for your LLC's state taxes. It also tells you about the Texas franchise tax, which is a tax you pay for the privilege of doing business in the state. And this is kind of, it is what it is. So you can open a business bank account with your EIN, and this is kind of cool. Now, the thing is that you might at some point convert your LLC into S corporation for lower taxes and other strategies, but this is actually a topic for another video. Let me talk to you about, I want to give you a few pro tips here. So what are the next steps after forming an LLC in the state of Texas? So basically, there are several essential steps you should consider to help ensure your business rides smoothly in the Lone Star State. Okay, let's first talk about some of those here. So you need to file Texas annual reports. So after the celebration of establishing your LLC, you need to keep an eye on those calendar dates. So in Texas, LLCs are required to file an annual report called a public information report in association with the Texas annual franchise tax. This is not just a one-time tax, but a yearly responsibility. So this is essential because this report keeps the state updated about key aspects of your business, such as management structure and operational insights. Not only is it legally mandated, but it also ensures that you maintain a good standing with the state authorities. So missed deadlines can lead to penalties or worse, the dissolution of your LLC. You need to get necessary licenses and permits. So this is kind of important. And so depending on your business's nature and its specific location in Texas, you might need additional permits or licenses. For instance, if you're opening a restaurant in Austin, you will need health permits, signage permits, and possibly liquor licenses. You need to invest in business insurance. This is an important element to kind of protect you. You got to think also about, so when we talk about insurance, we're talking about general liability insurance, for instance, professional liability insurance, and commercial property insurance. So what is liability insurance? Well, this is the most common type of, and this covers many accidents or damages that might occur on your business premises. You have to think about professional liability insurance. If you are in a service providing business, this insurance covers you against errors or negligence claims. And what about commercial property insurance? Well, if you own a physical location, this type of insurance covers damages to your property from events like fires, storms, or theft. So remember, while not all insurance types might be mandatory, they provide a safety net for your LLC. So in a state where everything is bigger, ensure your peace of mind is too. And also you want to stay up to date. Okay, you never know. So Texas has a lot of changes in regulations, business trends, and networking possibilities. So you always want to make sure that you are up to date. Before we close to this conversation, let me give you a winner here. So I want to talk to you quickly about the benefits of LLCs in Texas. So LLCs in Texas actually enjoy a constellation of benefits. So you have flexible tax options. You have simplified administration. You have credibility. You have management flexibility. So this is kind of cool. And by the way, of course, when we talk about LLC, we have to always mention limited liability protection, right? So you have management flexibility, you have asset protection strategies, and you have growth opportunities. This is kind of cool. So what I want to say here is that, growth opportunities, because if you really think about it, Texas presents vast opportunities for business growth. Think about cities like Austin, Dallas, and Houston, right? Those are really, really big cities. And so being an LLC in such a dynamic state means you are well positioned to capitalize on these opportunities. So this is kind of cool. And so here is the decision I want you to keep in mind. So I want to share with you the types of LLCs in Texas. So you have single member LLCs, you have multi-member LLCs, you have series LLCs, and you have professional LLCs. So the professional LLC, the PLC, is basically a business entity tailored for licensed professionals such as doctors and lawyers. I think I've said this when I started this conversation, right? And basically, the primary purpose is to provide liability protection similar to a regular LLC while also meeting professional licensing requirements. Note that a PLC doesn't shield its members from personal malpractice claims. It can, however, protect the members from malpractice claims against the other members. This is very important. So what about series LLCs? Well, a series LLC is actually a forward-thinking structure that the state of Texas offers. So basically, you are able to have like a parent LLC. You can have child LLCs underneath the parent LLC. So this is really good. A lot of folks use the series LLCs for real estate investments, so where you can actually buy multiple properties and establish a child LLC for every single property. So this is really fantastic. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to establish an LLC in Texas. So quickly, just to recap here. Number one, you want to name your Texas LLC. Number two, appoint the registered agent in Texas. Number three, you want to file Texas certificate of formation. Number four, you want to create an operating agreement. Number five, you want to apply for the EIN. Thank you so much. And I give you also a few pro tips, and also a winner, and also the decision-making process. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.